What's up, guys? Welcome back to another vid. And in today's vid, I'm going to be discussing NFL rivalries. This is a suggested, can't talk, I'm sorry. This is a suggestion by, let's see here, what's his name? You know what? I'll keep his information private. It's a kid who's in my grade. I'm not going to say who. But if you're watching, you know who you are. But anyways. So, he saw my college football video and he wanted me to do NFL referees. So, here we go. First one is the Green Bay Packers versus Chicago Bears. Now, keep in mind, I'm just like rating them 1 through 10 and stuff. So, yeah. Now, this is an old rivalry dating back to 1921, it says. It is deep rooted. Pretty interesting stuff. Yeah. So, judging how, since the, rivalry is so old and literally this past NFL season, these two teams have had some very close matchups, with Chicago getting lucky, I would rate this at least a 7 out of 10, or maybe an 8 out of 10. Pittsburgh Steelers versus Baltimore Ravens. Not a fan of either team. Well, it really doesn't look like I have any favorite teams here. But known for physical, hard-hitting games. I mean, that makes kind of sense because they're also kind of like close to each other, not too far away. But basically, they apparently get physical and hard-hitting. And if I remember correctly, these two teams battled to see who would make the playoffs, and Pittsburgh came out top, but of course lost it first round again. So, this is another one of those rivalries that are pretty notable. All these are, to be fair. So, I would rate this maybe a solid 7 out of 10. Dallas Cowboys versus Philadelphia Eagles. A major NFC East rivalry. Now, cultural roots, often featuring high-stakes, dramatic matchups. I would say if these two teams played each other last season, which they probably did, it probably wasn't for high stakes, as Dallas hasn't been the best, and, Philadelphia's after, the other Super Bowl, and, they were because the season's over, but you get the point. I'll rate it mid, 5 out of 10. San Francisco versus Seattle. Intense rivalry in the NFC West, driven by competition for divisional dominance. Now, I would rank it higher because I've also seen some clips from a few years ago of, some heated moments between these two teams. However, this past game, the last game, man, that was horrible. Horrible. Just horrible. Seattle just pounded the 49ers in a dramatic fashion. Well, no, it wasn't even dramatic. It was just domination at that rate. So I'm going to just, whenever these two teams are at least good, well, like when these two teams can actually keep a game and not just blow out, it might be good. However, just since, after the last matchup, 4 out of 10, not the best. Las Vegas versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Historical AFC West feud that combines long-standing tradition with intense competition. Hate to say it, but it doesn't look like that was probably the case. Well, both teams, Kansas City, mid. Las Vegas, still struggling. Even with Geno Smith and stuff. Now, keep in mind, I probably don't have a lot of knowledge about these rivalries because I'm more of a college football guy. I'm just doing this vid because someone at my school suggested it. But anyways. So, it's an intense competition. I will admit, I was impressed when Las Vegas beat the Chiefs on Christmas a few years back. Pretty sure that's what happened, but, I'm just going to rate this another mid rivalry, 5 out of 10. Feel me? Now, there is another good amount of rivalries I could talk about, but it is what it is. Really, I don't really care. I'm just going over the most historic and fierce rivalries apparently, and I'm also kind of basing them off of how they currently played this past season or whatever. You feel me? However, you know what? If I could go back, I'd maybe rate the Chicago Bears and Green Bay 8 if I didn't already, because Chicago and Green Bay had some close games this past season. Forgive me if I'm mumbling, by the way. But anyways. So Green Bay, Chicago, 8. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, I'm going to give it a 7. Because it was for a potential playoff spot and who dominated the NFC East. San Francisco and Seattle. Pretty sure I gave it a 4, just mainly because of how the last meeting went. Did not go good at all. And Las Vegas and Kansas City, I think I just went 5 or something. Keep in mind, I'm a college football guy. Don't know much about NFL probably. Don't know the deep rivalries. You feel me? But anyways, keep in mind this is probably a cringe video because I just freaking sell and I yap too long. But anyways, basically I might do another college football rivalries video. I'm not gonna lie, because I think there's some rivalries that I can talk about, some more rivalries. I see I'm stuttering on camera too. I want to point that out. I've stuttered a couple times because I just can't talk. But anyways, yeah, probably cringe, but it is what it is, I guess. I'm a small channel, thankfully. But anyways, see y'all next time. Peace out.